Let's proceed with part 2. By the way, before we proceed, please take note that FRIA constitute 5% of the CPA licensure examination. So, ibig sabihin, about 5 questions about FRIA will be asked sa board exam. So, that is why bigyan natin ng pansin itong FRIA. Okay, for part 2, because of the heavy technicalities of the procedures of this law, part 2 will only involve a discussion as to the procedure of court-supervised rehabilitation. Yan. So this part 2 will only discuss this para hindi masyado overpouring ang data. So court-supervised rehabilitation is initiated by filing a petition for rehabilitation. Okay? So itong court-supervised rehabilitation, dahil nga sa word na court-supervised, ipafile talaga ito sa court. And the petition to be filed is called a petition for rehabilitation. And in voluntary proceedings, of course, voluntary proceedings is a petition filed by the debtor. Okay. So what kind of debtor? A sole proprietor. Majority of the partners of a partnership na registered sa SEC. Not necessarily all partners ang mag-agree, basta majority. And a majority in case of a corporation, it must be a majority vote of the board of directors or trustees and approved by 2/3 of the outstanding capital stock or members. Kasi klase sa generally, dalawang type. Generally lang, para may idea lang kayo. Sa corporation law, dalawa klaseng major na corporation, yung stock corporation at saka yung non-stock, non-profit corporation. Yung stock corporation, board of directors yun. Tapos stockholders yung mga member. Doon naman sa non-stock, non-profit, usually mga foundations, it is governed by a board of trustees. Tapos yung kasamahan nila are called members, not stockholders kasi non-stock. So it must, in the case of a corporation, dapat mag-meeting muna ang board. Okay, they will pass a resolution to agree na magparehab sa court. And this resolution, board resolution, pa-approved sa outstanding capital stockholders or members sa non-stock non-profit. Okay, it must be approved by 2/3, not necessarily 100% ang approved, 2/3 lang. So majority vote of the board, tapos 2/3 sa capital stock or members. Pwede na mag-file. So ABC, take note of, puro sila business enterprises. Walang individual dyan na wala namang business enterprise. So sa voluntary proceedings yan. Anong nakasulat doon sa petition nila sa voluntary proceedings? Okay, the petition will contain the following. Of course, the identification of the debtor, his principal activities, and his addresses. Kasi kailangan yan sa rehabilitation. Para alam ng court kung sino ang i-rehab niya. Saan naka-address at anong activities niya na pwede pa ipang-rehab. Okay, number 2. By the way, class, this enumeration, I will not be asking you to memorize. Be familiarized lang kung anong nakasulat sa petition. Number 2. Okay, statement of the facts. Okay, kung anong nag-cause ng insolvency. Okay, na ano yung mga utang na hindi mabayaran. Number 2. Number 3 is specific relief sought. Ang relief sought dito is yung i-rehab yung business enterprise. Number 4, the grounds upon which the petition is based. Anong section, anong chapter, anong article na FRIA. Ang ground mo, legal basis. Sulat sa number 4. Number 5, very important, nakasulat dapat sa petition ang lahat na listahan ng lahat ng creditors. Pati addresses nila, amount of the claim, collaterals or securities if any, ano yung mga na-pledge sa kanila, kung ano yung na-mortgage. So, lista lahat. Di lahat walang hindi sasali kundi lahat ng creditors. Listahan niya na tuloy lahat ng listahan ng utang. Sulat number 5. Number 6, an inventory of all assets including receivables and claims against third parties. So, ilista din ni debtor. Kasi si debtor ang nag-file nitong petition na ito. Yung number 5 class, kailangan niya ng court para alam ng court kung sino yung mga creditors na may claim because later on, mag-order ang court na lahat ng creditors i-inform din na may petition sa court para lahat sila pupunta sa court at i-lay down yung claims nila. Okay. Number 6, isulat lahat ni debtor, lahat ng assets niya. As in lahat ng utang at saka lahat ng assets para makita ng court kung pwede pa ba i-rehabilitate o hindi. Number 7 is a rehabilitation plan. Now, this is very important class. Rehabilitation plan depende sa type of business enterprise, but the rehabilitation plan is the plan kung paano i-rehab, i-revive. Okay? Anong strategy para ma-revive yung business enterprise. Take note, the rehabilitation plan, okay, ipasok na sa umpisa pa lang, nakasulat na sa petition. Okay, this rehabilitation plan later on, i-discuss nila yan sa court, pa-approve pa yan ni judge. Pero sa umpisa pa lang, sa petition pa lang, nakasulat na dapat ang rehabilitation plan sa petition. Why? Because this is a petition for rehabilitation. Kasi ang court naman kasi class, malay ba naman ng court kung anong business mo? Maybe si judge, hindi naman siya businessman. Okay, ang nakakaalam kung anong business yan is ikaw mismo, yung debtor. Okay, so anong plano mo para ma-rehabilitate under the court supervision? Take note class, the court here is only supervising. Hindi siya yung the court will not take over the business tapos ang court ang magnegosyo, hindi pwede. Kasi that is not the business of the court. The court is only to supervise, magbantay. Okay, so the plan will be coming from the debtor. Sulat mo na sa petition if you are the debtor. Number 8, the names of at least 3 nominees to the position of a rehabilitation receiver. A rehabilitation receiver is a person which may be a natural person or a juridical person na magiging kakampi ni judge ng court. Si rehabilitation receiver ang pinaka in charge sa rehabilitation later on na siya magre-report sa court kung ano na ang nangyayari sa rehabilitation. Ang tawag sa kanya, rehabilitation receiver. Okay? Sa petition, nakasulat 3 pangalan na pwede pagpilian ng court. Number 9, other documents which may be required to be filed. Okay, others na yung number 9. Okay, siya, dyan yan. But take note, ang pinaka-importante dito is yung listahan ng utang dapat ang sulat, listahan ng assets na kasulat, and then may rehabilitation plan. And 3 nominees as rehabilitation receiver. Yun yung sa voluntary proceedings. Now, this time, let us look at involuntary proceedings. Kasi yung voluntary and involuntary proceedings class, nagkakaiba lang sila sa pag-start. But pag na-start na, yung procedure galing, pag na-file na sa court, lahat ng procedure from the start up to the finish, pareha lang. Pareha lang ang procedure. Doon lang sila nagkakaiba sa start. Why? Because sa voluntary, it is being started by the debtor. Sa involuntary naman, mga creditor. So, who will file this petition for rehabilitation? Any creditor or group of creditors. So, pwede isa lang, pwede marami. Basta, the total amount of the claim is at least 1 million or 25% of the subscribed capital stock or partner's contribution, whichever is higher. Pero ang pinakatandaan dito, 1 million. Okay, because if the 25% subscribed stock or the partner's contribution is less than 1 million, 1 million pa rin ang basihan mo because nakasulat, whichever is higher. So 1 million or more. Okay. So that means, hindi pwede basta-basta mag-file ng involuntary proceedings ang any creditor. For example, I am the creditor, tapos ikaw yung debtor. Hindi kita pwede basta-basta hilain sa court para mag-rehab. Kasi nga involuntary to sa pilitan. If I am the creditor, hindi ko basta-basta pwede mahila si debtor sa court for rehabilitation. Why? Because the law says, kailangan more than at least 1 million ang utang, 1 million or more. So kung ang utang is 100,000 lang, you cannot file an involuntary proceedings if you are the creditor. And take note, in contrast, doon sa voluntary proceedings, walang sinabi amount. Okay? Walang minimum amount doon sa voluntary proceedings. So the debtor doon sa voluntary proceedings can file even if ang amount involved is less than 1 million because there is no amount mentioned. But here, in voluntary proceedings, yung claim ng creditor na nag-file, hindi ibig sabihin lahat ng creditor, yung creditor na nag-file or group of creditors, yung total claim nila must be at least 1 million. And yung utang na yon is not disputed. Ibig sabihin, there is no issue whether may utang o wala. Basta kay utang yan na recognize naman ng debtor pero hindi niya babayaran for at least 60 days na ang nakalipas. So maraming requirements, class. Hindi basta-basta pwede mag-file ang creditor ng involuntary proceedings. Number 1, at least 1 million ang claim. Number 2, 60 days nang hindi nababayaran ang utang. Mora solvente for 60 days. Or may isang creditor na naghabol ng foreclosure doon sa isang property tapos takot yung ibang creditor dahil hindi na sila mabayaran sa oras. Yung mga takot na creditor can file an involuntary proceedings basta ang claim nila 1 million or more. Okay, kasi or ang sabi. Or. So ito yung mga requirements bago maka-file ang creditor ng involuntary proceedings. So if ang creditor ang nag-file ng petition, ano naman ang nakasulat sa petition? Just the same, kailangan niya pa rin i-identify kung ano pangalan ng debtor, activities niya, and address para alam ng court. Because later on, mag-order ang court na i-inform yung debtor kasi si debtor din niya alam ito eh. Creditor ang nag-file. So kaya gusto ni court malaman niyang address, activities at saka ang pangalan ng debtor para later on pwede niya ma-orderan to appear before the court. Number 2, siyempre yung circumstances sufficient to support the petition to initiate voluntary rehabilitation proceedings. Dito isusulat ng creditors ng claim nila is more than 1 million, hindi nabayaran ng more than 60 days, or takot sila na hindi mabayaran dahil yung isang kasama nilang debtor is nag-foreclosure na doon sa properties ng debtor. Number 3, specific relief sought. Anong relief ang hinihingi nila is rehabilitation. Number 4, magsulat din sila ng rehabilitation plan. Sa voluntary proceedings, yung kanina, si debtor ang magsulat kung anong plano niya. Dito sa involuntary proceedings, of course, si creditor or group of creditors ang magsulat ng rehabilitation plan. Hindi pa rin si court because the court does not know what business are you in. And of course, the creditors, alam niya ang business enterprise ng debtor, okay, he can propose a plan by including in the petition a rehabilitation plan. What is important here is that the rehabilitation plan is already incorporated sa umpisa pa lang ng petition. And then number 5, the names of at least 3 nominees to the position of the rehabilitation receiver. Another recognition that may be required and other documents required to be filed with the petition. Take note class, anong wala dito? Yung listahan ng mga utang ng debtor. Wala nakasulat. Why? Because you cannot expect a creditor or some of the creditors to know every utang ng debtor. Number 2, hindi rin nakasulat dito kung ano yung mga assets ng debtor. Why? Because you cannot expect the creditor na nag-file na alam niya lahat ng asset ng debtor. So, ano mayayari dito? Paano yan, sir? Don't worry because during the hearing, si court na yan ang mag-order kay debtor na ilista lahat ng utang, ilista lahat ng assets niya. Sa petition, hindi yun nakasulat. Why? Because hindi pa alam ng debtor na nag-file yung creditor. Involuntary proceedings ngayon. Alright? Okay, so this is step number 2. Step number 1, yung mag-file ng petition sa involuntary proceedings or mag-file ng petition for rehabilitation dun sa involuntary proceedings. So sa step 1 lang sila under sa court supervised rehabilitation class, there are 2 kinds, voluntary and involuntary proceedings. Pero yung dalawa na yun nagkaiba lang sa step 1 kasi iba-iba ang contents ng petition. Pero sa step 2 and later procedures, pareho na sila. Okay? So number 2, pag nakapile na ng petition, the court will issue a commencement order. Okay? So yung commencement order, nakasulat doon yung commencement date, yung umpisa, yung start ng rehabilitation. Okay, so take note of commencement order. Importante yan. Baka tanungin yan sa board exam. So, anong nakasulat sa commencement order? Number 1, declare that the debtor is under rehabilitation. Siyempre, declare ni court. Okay, ikaw debtor, under rehabilitation ka na ng court. Number 2, this is also important, very important class. Kailangan sabihin ng court kung sino yung nag-file ng petition o itong order, ang order class hindi ang rehabilitation plan. Ang commencement order ng court i-publish sa newspaper of general circulation. Saan? In whole Philippines dapat ang publication. Once a week for at least 2 consecutive weeks, with the first publication to be made within 7 days from the time of this issuance. Never mind kung ang technicalities dyan. Ang importante dyan, you know na yung order must be published in the newspaper of general circulation in the entire Philippines. Hindi pwede yung newspaper na dito lang sa Jensen gina-publish. Dapat newspaper na national ang scope. For 2 weeks, at least 2 weeks, once a week for 2 weeks. Yun ang requirement. Kaya magastos ito because mahal ang publication ng mga national newspapers. Tapos 2 weeks pag yun. Okay? Once a week for 2 weeks pala. So 2 times. Mahal pa rin yan. Take note class, ang gina-publicize the order, not the petition, not the rehabilitation plan, but the order of the court, the commencement order in particular. Kasi nakasulat sa order kung sino yung i-rehabilitate ng debtor para malaman ng buong Pilipinas pa lahat, because everyone is considered na nagbasa ng newspaper even if hindi talaga. But for purposes of court proceedings, pag na-publish newspaper, it is considered that the whole of the Philippines is informed of these proceedings. So lahat ng creditors na hindi nakasulat dito sa petition, considered na nabasa nila yung newspaper, and dapat pupunta sila sa court to file their claim sa debtor. This is for the information of everyone in the Philippines in letter B publication. Importante yung class, don't forget that. Letter C, the court in the order, commencement order, will direct the service of personal copy of the petition to each of the creditor in case of voluntary proceedings and the debtor in involuntary proceedings. Okay, sabihin ni Judge doon sa order niya. Mahaba ito na order class. Okay, siguro ang paragraph A, first paragraph is declaring the debtor under rehabilitation. Second paragraph is ordering that the commencement order be published in the newspaper of general circulation. Number 3 na paragraph. Okay, sabi ng court, oy, petitioner. The petitioner, yung nag-file ng petition. Kung si debtor ang nag-file, sabi niya, oy, debtor, i-inform mo si creditor, bigyan mo ng copy ng petition. Or sa involuntary proceedings, ang nag-file si creditor, sabi ni judge, oy, creditor, bigyan mo copy ng petition si debtor. Letter D, appoint a rehabilitation receiver, which may be a natural or juridical person, okay, who may or may not be from the names of nominees of the petitioner. Take note lang, sa petition, nakasulat doon 3 nominees sa pagiging receiver. Pwede magpili doon si judge, pwede rin iba. Okay, halimbawa may previous na case ang court about rehabilitation and then may known person na magaling mag-rehab, pwede yun i-appoint ng court. Anyway, itong rehabilitation receiver may be pwede tanggalin, pwede palitan, at later on sa entire proceedings, basta may approval ng court. Okay? So, sa commencement order pa lang, okay, mag-appoint na si judge ng rehabilitation receiver, nakasulat doon sa commencement order. Letter E, summarize of the deadlines for the creditors to establish the claims against the debtor. Okay, manawagan actually si judge sa lahat ng debt ng creditor sa buong Pilipinas na punta kayo sa court, i-file niyo yung claim ninyo, ang deadline is ganito. Letter E. Letter F, direct the BIR to file and serve on the debtor its comment on the opposition to the petition or its claims against the debtor. Sabi ni judge, sabihan niyo yung BIR na may i-rehab dito, baka may mga utang ito na buwis. Okay, yan letter F. Letter G, prohibit the debtor suppliers from withholding supply of the goods for as long as the debtor makes payments for the services or goods supplied after the issuance of the commencement order. So, lahat ng supplier ng debtor, hindi pwede mag-stop ng delivery because ma-contempt of court sila kasi nag-order si judge na huwag mag-stop ng supply. Because pag i-stop nila ang supply, hindi na ma-rehab. Letter H, set the initial hearing. So, magsabi si judge, okay, mag-hearing tayo sa next ganitong date. Okay. Ang purpose nun will be sulat lahat ng claims ng creditor kasi nanawagan nga si judge na mga creditor mag-file ng claims. So, next hearing, i-determine niya yan doon siya. That is why kailangan niya i-set ang initial hearing. Letter I, very important. Nakasulat sa commencement order, nakasulat doon, may suspension order. Stay or suspension order. This is very important, class. By the way, sa procedure class, dalawa na ang documents. Yung number 1, yung petition. Ang second na document, itong commencement order ng court. Sa commencement order, nakasulat na yung lahat doon. Nakasulat din ito, yung suspension order. Stay or suspension order, nakasulat din ito doon sa loob ng commencement order. Take note, class, ang stay or suspension order is not the same as suspension of payments, class. Iba yung suspension of payments, doon yung sa liquidation. Okay. Ano ibig sabihin ng stay or suspension order? Ito ang contents niya para mas maintindihan. Suspend all actions or proceedings in court or otherwise for the enforcement of claims against the debtor. So, lahat ng kaso all over the Philippines against the debtor, suspended lahat. Hindi pwede i-pursue. Why? Because baka yung mga courts na iba, mag-decision din, mag-claim din doon sa properties, yung isang court mag-claim din sa property, magulo, mas magulo. So, under FRIA, ipastop niya lahat sa isang court lang. By the way, ang tawag sa court class na nag-issue ng commencement order is called the rehabilitation court. Okay. So, when I say rehabilitation court, ito yung court na doon nag-file ng petition for rehabilitation, and then ang court nag-issue ng commencement order. Yung court na yon ang tawag rehabilitation court. So, lahat ng kaso sa ibang court na hindi rehabilitation, stop lahat, suspended lahat. Why? Para maayos yung proceedings doon sa rehabilitation court kasi siya lang ang mag-supervise. Lahat ng about sa property ng debtor because the proceedings is in rem. Number 2, suspend all actions to enforce any judgments, attachments, or other provisional remedies against the debtor. So, lahat ng sheriff, hindi pwede maghabol doon sa properties, stop lahat yun, suspended lahat yun. Lahat ng sa ibang courts, suspended lahat yung kaso doon. para hindi magulo. Number 3, prohibit the debtor from selling, encumbering, and disposing except in the ordinary course of business. So number 3, bawal din magbenta ng gamit si debtor para stop lahat. Because in rem nga ang proceedings, lahat ng properties ng debtor under sa supervision ng court. Binabantayan lahat ng bantay sarado yun ng court. So hindi pwede ibenta ni debtor yung mga gamit. Except lang yung siyempre yung binibenta niya in the ordinary course of business. Example, if the debtor is in the business of selling soap, pwede pa rin siya magbenta ng soap. Pero hindi niya pwede ibenta yung kanyang computer, yung building ng business niya, yung lupa, yung delivery truck, hindi pwede. Yun lang soap, yun lang ordinary course of business. Why? Because bantay sarado ng rehabilitation court lahat ng properties. Because the proceedings is in rem. Prohibit the debtor from making any payment of his liabilities outstanding starting the commencement date except as may be provided herein. O lahat ng utang, bawal din bayaran muna. Okay? If you get the idea, class, pag i-recognize na ng court na mayroong petition, nagbigay siya ng commencement order, kasama na doon ang suspension order. Suspension order kasi lahat ng activities pertaining to the property suspended. Lahat ng kaso all over the Philippines basta against the properties, suspended. Lahat ng judgment, lahat ng sheriff na actions against sa property ng debtor, suspended. Ang pagbebenta ng debtor na kanyang properties except in the ordinary course of business, suspended. Lahat ng utang, ang pagbayad, suspended din para hindi mabawasan yung property. Kasi si court lang ang mag-approve kung ano ang property ang ibenta at ano ang property ang ipangbayad. Si court lang. So lahat yung suspended. Walang ibang makialam, kundi ang rehabilitation court lang. So, suspension order or stay order, pareha lang ng meaning ano kasi stay order, ibig sabihin suspended lahat. Ibang stay sa dating stay as is. So ano ang exception doon sa stay order? Suspension order. Pag ang case nasa Supreme Court na, dahil ang Supreme Court is a superior court dahil sa rehabilitation court, hindi kasali sa suspended yung kaso na nasa Supreme Court na. Pero yung desisyon ng Supreme Court ipadala doon sa rehabilitation court para ang rehabilitation court ang mag-implement para hindi nga magulo. Number 2, may discretion din yung rehabilitation court to allow yung ibang, kahit na suspended lahat, pero if in the opinion of the rehabilitation court, kailangan mas ma-determine ng isang court or special court o quasi judicial agency yung isang portion ng kaso or ng property, pwede yun i-allow ng court na mag-proceed. Discretion yun ng court. Kasi si court naman, si rehabilitation court naman ang nag-decide na go. Hindi lang i-stay, hindi lang i-suspended. Pwede yun. Okay. Ano pa? To the enforcement of claims against sureties and other persons solidarily liable with the debtor. Ano meaning yan? Ang haba. Ganito ang meaning yan. Si debtor, yung nire-rehabilitate, si Mr. A, may utang sa bangko. Co-debtor niya, solidarily liable siya with Mr. B and C. So, yung bangko, hindi pwede maghabol kay Mr. A dahil under rehabilitation siya, suspended lahat ng pangungulekta. Pati pagbayad ng utang, suspended. Pero ang bangko pwede maghabol kay Mr. B and Mr. C na co-debtors who are solidarily liable kay Mr. A. Why? Because si Mr. B and C is not part of the rehabilitation. Yan yung ibig sabihin ng number 3. Number 4, to any criminal action against individual debtor or owner. Okay, so pag criminal action, ibig sabihin criminal case, hindi kasali sa suspended. Yun lang mga collection, mga properties, kaso about properties, kaso about liabilities, yun ang suspended. Pero criminal cases against the debtor is not part of those which are suspended. Kasi iba naman ang result ng criminal case, kulong naman, hindi naman yung about sa properties. So, commencement order yung class ha. Commencement order sa loob nun, yung pag-publish. Nandun din sa loob ng commencement order ang suspension order. So, tapos na natin na-discuss yung suspension order. Commencement order naman, anong effect pag nag-issue ng court ng commencement order? Ano ibig sabihin nun? Okay, so nag-start ng rehabilitation. So, dahil nag-start ng rehabilitation, lahat ng powers and function under sa FRIA, nasa court na. Okay, the court can look into the records of the debtor, sa bank account niya. Okay, lahat ng nature, lahat ng records ng debtor pwede na silipin ng court at saka ng rehabilitation receiver. Number 2, prohibit or otherwise serve as legal basis and null and void the results of any extrajudicial activity or process to seize property, and so on and so forth. Okay, kapag nag-commencement order na ang court, ibig sabihin start ng rehabilitation, bawal lang yung mga extrajudicial activity. Extrajudicial activities, yung lahat ng activity outside of the court pertaining to the property. Hindi na pwede lahat ng contracts para sa disposal ng property, pagbenta ng property, bawal na yun. Why? Because ang court na lang ang pwede mag-decide kung anong dapat gawin sa mga properties ng debtor. Hindi na pwede mag-usap-usap sa labas ng court. Yung judicial na lahat, hindi na pwede ng extrajudicial. Number 3, dahil may commencement order na, nag-rehabilitation ng court, null and void na ang any set-off. What does this mean? If you can still remember yung obligation and contracts on extinguishment of obligation, yung compensation, set-off. May utang ko sa iyo na 100, may utang ka rin sa akin 100, edi set-off na, compensation, or ano ba tawag sa Bisaya? Patas na. So, kung si debtor may utang sa ibang creditor may utang din sa kanya, bawal na mag-set off, mag-compensation. Bawal na, hindi may extinguish yung contract by set off because lahat kasi suspended. Si judge lang magsabi kung sinong babayaran, kanino ibabayad, anong gagawin sa properties. Rehabilitation court na yun. Number 4, because may commencement order na, it will be a basis for rendering null and void the perfection of any lien against the debtor's property after the commencement date. So yung nasa loan sales niyo, yung mga lien doon, hindi yun pwede mag-accrue against the property kasi bantay sarado ka ng court yung property. Number 5, consolidate the resolution of all legal proceedings by and against the debtor to the court provided that the court may allow the to receive cases other than where the debtor has initiated the suit. Okay, so lahat ng proceedings suspended, ang court lang, rehabilitation ng court, ang proceedings na mag-proceed. Unless ang rehabilitation court mismo mag-allow sa ibang court na mag-proceed. Depende na sa situation. So, ano mangyari if you will defy or will not follow the commencement order or the stay order? Attempts to seek legal or other purpose resource against the debtor outside these proceedings shall be sufficient to support a finding of indirect contempt of court. So, contempt of court ka, pwede ka may pakulong ni judge for not following court orders. If you will not follow the order of the court for the suspension of disposal of properties, payment of liabilities, hindi ka nag-follow, you will be cited for indirect contempt. Pwede ka is-fine o ipakulong ni judge. So, if you are a supplier, hindi mo pwede, di ba sabi, hindi mo pwede i-stop yung supply ng goods. Pag nag-stop ka, you will be in contempt of court. Ito pa very important din class. Dahil may commencement order na, okay, pati yung imposition of taxes, fees, penalties, interest, and charges by the government, BIR, or local LGU ng City Treasurer's Office is considered waived during the period from the commencement order hantod sa pag-approve sa rehabilitation plan or dismissal of the petition whichever is earlier. During that period, bawal din mangulikta ng buwis ang gobyerno. Kasi nga, bantay sarado ng court yung properties ng debtor because the proceedings is considered in rem. Number 3, step 3. Okay, step 3 na klasa sa court supervised rehabilitation. Okay, to summarize, step 1, yun yung filing ng petition, whether voluntary or involuntary. Step 2, mag-issue na ng, pag na-file na petition, mag-issue na si judge or ang rehabilitation court ng commencement order na dapat i-publish. Nakasulat din doon ang stay or suspension order. Na number 3, initial hearing na. Nag-set na kasi si judge ng hearing. Okay, makikita na sila doon sa court. Hearing na. In his first hearing. So, ano mangyayari doon sa hearing? The court will determine the creditors who have timely filed their notice of claims. So, lahat ng, kasi nandun sa order, sa publication, lahat ng debtor, creditors all over the Philippines pwede mag-claim kung merong claim sa debtor. So, sa initial hearing, determine ni judge kung sino yung mga nag-file ng kanilang claims, kasali yun sa listahan. Hear and determine any objection to the qualification, appointment of the rehabilitation receiver. So, pwede pa magpapalit ng rehabilitation receiver, pwede mag-object, pwede mag-appoint ng isa bago. Number 3, the court will direct the creditors to comment on the petition and the rehabilitation plan and to submit the same to the court and to the rehabilitation within a period of not more than 20 days. So, yung rehabilitation plan na sinulat mo doon sa petition, yan, sa initial hearing, pag-usapan nila yan. So, the creditor must comment kung okay ba sa kanila, kung kulang, hindi ba nasali yung claim nila. Okay, mag-file sila ng comment. D, direct the rehabilitation receiver to evaluate the financial condition of the debtor and prepare and submit pwede in 40 days from the initial preliminary report. So, bigyan na ng assignment ni judge si rehabilitation receiver na tingnan initially ang magawa ng preliminary report. Ang purpose ito is i-determine ni judge kung talaga bang pwede pa i-rehabilitate. May pag-asa pa ba? Feasible pa ba ang rehabilitation? Because if not, pwede convert ni judge from rehabilitation to liquidation. Paano yung creditor na hindi nagpasa ng claim nila on time? Kasi may deadline, sabi ni judge, may deadline. A creditor whose claim is not listed in the schedule of debts and liabilities, hindi siya nasali sa listahan, and who fails to file the notice of claim in accordance with the commencement order, nahuli siya. But subsequently files a belated claim, nahuli yung claim niya, shall not be entitled to participate in the proceedings, but shall be entitled to receive distributions arising therefrom. Okay. So, yung mga nahuli sa pag-file, mga creditor na nahuli sa pagpalista ng claim, hindi na pwede makisali sa proceedings, pero pwede sila maka-receive ng bayad during sa distribution na ng cash if bayaran ang mga utang ng debtor as approved by the court. Okay, step 4. So, step 1 is filing of the petition, whether voluntary or involuntary. Number 3 is nag-issue ng commencement order of court. Number 3 is yung initial hearing. Number 4, mag-report na si step 4. Mag-report na si rehabilitation receiver or his preliminary findings. Okay? Di ba kasi sa initial hearing, binigyan siya ng assignment ng court. Okay? To make a preliminary findings. So, number 4, magsasubmit na si step 4, magsubmit na si rehabilitation receiver ng preliminary findings. Number 5, anong gawin ng court? So, depende sa preliminary findings ng rehabilitation receiver, the court may give due course to the petition. Ibig sabihin, itutuloy ng court yung rehabilitation. i-approve yung rehabilitation plan, i-implement rin yung rehabilitation plan para ma-rehabilitate, ma-revive yung business enterprise. Yan ibig sabihin ng giving due course. Or, i-dismiss yung petition. Maybe because sa preliminary findings ng rehabilitation receiver, sabi niya, court, judge, rehabilitation court, hindi totoong insolvent si debtor. Kasi marami siyang pera pambayad. Ang anong gawin ni judge? I-dismiss na yung petition. Because there is no ground for rehabilitation. Because hindi insolvent yung debtor. Or, sabi ni rehabilitation receiver ay judge, tagilid na, hindi na pwede i-revive, hindi na pwede i-rehab. So in that case, pwede na siya i-convert, conversion or proceedings. So sa step 5 class, tatlo ang pwede mangyari. Ituloy yung rehabilitation, or i-dismiss ang petition, or i-convert na into liquidation para i-convert na ang mga properties into cash, then bayaran yung mga creditor dahil wala ng pag-asa ni rehab. Yun ang step 5. Tatlong possibilities. So, yung first possibility, if given due course, sabi, katapos ng report ng rehabilitation receiver, na pwede pa i-rehab, the court shall direct the rehabilitation receiver to review, revise, or recommend action on the rehabilitation plan. Pag-usapan na ulit nila ang rehabilitation plan kasi i-implement nila ito eh. Kasi given due course, mag-give due course na doon sa rehabilitation. And submit the same or a new one to the court. After review and confirmation, okay, nag-agree ng debtor, nag-agree ng creditor doon sa rehabilitation plan, wala nang problema, i-confirm na yun ng court. The rehabilitation plan will be implemented by the rehabilitation receiver under the control and supervision of the court. After a successful implementation of the rehabilitation plan, whether in failure, the proceedings will be terminated. Pag natapos na ang rehabilitation plan, successful, na-revive yung business enterprise, nabayaran lahat ng utang, i-terminate na yung proceedings kasi there is no more rehabilitation. Okay? And during the process, di ko na siya i-discuss class dahil hindi na siya kasali sa terms of reference at saka sa syllabus ng CPA licensure examination. Yung mga technicalities ng pag-implement ng rehabilitation plan. Masyado na siyang technical. And hindi na siya kasali sa syllabus. So, hindi ko na siya i-discuss. Summarize ko na lang siya na after ma-approve yung rehabilitation plan, i-implement. Bayaran na lahat ng utang. If naka-recover na ng income, bayad sa utang. Okay, na-rehabilitate na yung business enterprise. Pagtapos na lahat, bigyan ng sweldo ang rehabilitation receiver. And then, i-terminate ng proceedings, i-stop na kasi pwede na ulit mag-proceed ang business enterprise kasi wala na siya mga utang. Okay? Pero, halimbawa, nag-fail. Hindi naging successful yung rehabilitation, i-terminate pa rin yung proceedings. Tapos, i-convert yung proceedings into liquidation proceedings kasi hindi na rehab. Lalong nalugmok sa utang. So, hindi na rehabilitation ang case, kundi ma-convert na siya into liquidation proceedings. Second possibility, dismiss ng, management committee pala. During the implementation pala, if given due course, if binigyan ng due course ng court yung rehabilitation, tuloy-tuloy yung rehabilitation, during the rehabilitation, pwede maggawa ng management committee. Yung business enterprise, may sarili siyang management, di ba? May dati na siyang management. But the court can create a new management, ang tawag management committee. Pwede gani si rehabilitation receiver lang yun yan ng court na rehabilitation receiver, ikaw na ang mag-manage personally. Pwede yun. Or, the court can create a committee, group of persons na mag-take over sa management. Yun ang ibig sabihin ng management committee. Para ma-rehab talaga yung business enterprise. So, ang management committee, baka tanungin sa board exam. Okay, the court may appoint and direct the rehabilitation receiver to assume the powers of the management of the debtor or appoint a management committee that will undertake the management of the debtor. Basta ang management committee is a group of persons o pwede rin ang rehabilitation receiver lang na mag-take over sa management ng business enterprise kasi nga yung dating management sila naman talaga yung nag-mismanage kaya naging financially distress yung business enterprise. So, kailangan i-take over by a new management called management committee. So, yung management committee will be supervised pa rin by the court. And then, we have also the creditors committee. Pwede mag-participate ang creditors sa rehabilitation. Basta mag-create sila ng kanilang group, ang tawag creditors committee. Okay. So, the creditors belong to a class or may formally organize a committee among themselves. The creditors committee shall assist in the rehabilitation and communicate, sila ang maging liaison between the rehabilitation receiver and the creditors. Okay, actually, coordination lang ito. So, the creditors committee pwede rin makisali, mag-participate sa rehabilitation. They can form their own group called the creditors committee and they will closely coordinate with the rehabilitation receiver. Okay. So, itong management committee and creditors committee will only be present if i-approve ni judge na i-proceed yung rehabilitation. Okay. Nandito ito sa first possibility na i-proceed. Because the second possibility is the petition will be dismissed because hindi pala insolvent si debtor. So, kapag i-dismiss ni judge ang petition to rehabilitate dahil hindi naman talaga totoong insolvent si debtor, okay. So, if the petition is dismissed, then the court may, in its discretion, order the petitioner, kung sino yung nag-file sa voluntary proceedings, si debtor, sa involuntary proceedings, si creditor, okay. Yung mga nag-file ng kaso will be ordered to pay damages to the creditor or debtor, as the case may be, who may be have injured with the filing of the petition. Okay. So, if si debtor nag-file ng case, sabi niya, magparehab ako judge kasi nahirapan ako. Tapos, pagka preliminary report ng rehabilitation receiver, di pala totoo yun, then, ipapunish ni judge si debtor sa pag-file niya ng rehabilitation case by ordering the petitioner to pay damages. Kung si creditor naman ang nag-file sa involuntary proceedings, okay, hinila nila si debtor sa court para magparehab, ngayon pala hindi pala totoong insolvent, then yung nag-file na creditor, orderan ng court na magbayad ng damages dun sa debtor for the injury caused to the debtor. Letter C. Third possibility, if there is a finding that the rehabilitation is not feasible, the proceedings will be converted into a liquidation proceedings. Okay? So, dahil hindi na pwede i-rehab, i-liquidate na lang. Oh, that is the end of part 2. Oh, mahaba. Technicalities kasi ito. We still have to cover yung pre-negotiated rehabilitation plan, yung out-of-court agreement, and then liquidation doon sa next na discussion.